Hi friends, this is McBirdie and welcome back to another episode of Seduce Me. And I mean me, not me, but the me that's in the game. Her name's Sad Girl. She's not really me. But we're back. We're doing another episode of this game because what's more interesting than watching a teen angsty girl trying to find her true love with a bunch of demons and devils, and now we have to deal with this bitch because for some reason she thinks she owns everybody. Anyways, so just to recap shortly, she did come to my school and she somehow, she's a succubus, so she can control people's minds. So she came in as like our substitute teacher and now she's asking me to stay behind. So I don't know what she's up to, but we're gonna find out. As Diana looked to Suzu and Naomi, she snapped her fingers, making my friends tense up.
You two can head home. Don't worry about your friend until next week, okay? If you contact her, she won't reply, so don't bother. If she contacts you, ignore her, because she's just fine.
What a fucking bitch! Is this really the shit we have to deal with now? Okay, alright. Mess with my friends, huh? As if on command, Suzu and Naomi left the room. I tried to march after them, but Diana stepped in my path, warning me with her eyes that if I followed, there would be hell to pay. I had lost my two friends, at least for the week. Diana and I were alone, just like she wanted. I slammed my hands on the desk in front of me and glared at Diana. What are you doing and what are you thinking?
What? Do I not make a good teacher? I figured you should have a little lesson, so I took matters into my own hands.
Whatever you're trying to do won't work.
You really think so, dear? And what makes you so sure about that?
What was making me so sure? Why was I confident? Were the boys worth this? My thoughts began to fill with doubt. All of the uncertainties about this whole ordeal began to cloud my mind. If the boys were ever found out, there'd be hell to pay. Was it worth it? What about Diana? What would she do to me? Would she make my parents forget about me completely? Would she ruin my friends' lives out of spite? In my gut, I felt a stone of confidence trying to fight back, but the heaviness of my thoughts began to dissolve that stone little by little. What was going on with me? I looked up to Diana once again to see her gaze boring into my eyes. She was using her powers on me. This time, I was away from home, so I couldn't escape. Or could I? Did I want to? The way she stared at me made me feel warm and fuzzy inside my chest. I felt like melting. Diana lifted a hand under my chin and ran her thumb over my lips, licking her own. I could feel little shots of energy zipping from under my skin into my chin where she held me.
Now, let's have a little taste of that sweet, virginal sexual energy.
Oh my god, why are we going there? No, this is bad. I watched as she leaned in, ready to kiss me and take my energy. Half of my body felt elation at the idea. The other half completely rejected it and didn't want her to even touch me. Matthew. Suddenly, Diana stopped in her tracks.
Matthew? Who is...
It then dawned on her.
Ah, one of the boys. Why don't you tell me which boy is Matthew?
I felt myself nodded in compliance. The fourth. Diana giggled in reply before letting go of my face and stepping back.
Really? The child? With you?
I nodded once again, but this time it was partly my own decision to reply. Diana let out a sound that mimicked a cat's purr before stepping away from me.
All right, then. Well, if it's the fourth son you're infatuated with, you should really rethink your romantic options.
Right, because I have a real choice in the matter. Diana chuckled before kissing my nose, where I felt a shot of energy zap out of my body, almost making me dizzy and recoil. Some of the English in this game was a little weird. I don't know. It's making me feel like I'm not reading things correctly. Diana then turned to the desk and sat on the wood, crossing her legs.
You can go now. Remember, no class for the rest of the week.
Why is that part of your plan? What is your purpose in doing that? This is bizarre. And how am I supposed to get home? My 2 friends left me here thanks to you.
Oh, were they your ride? My apologies. Let me help then.
Yeah, you're so funny. Diana then lifted her hand and snapped her fingers. I suddenly felt the floor sink from underneath me, forcing me to look down. A purple pentagram surrounded my feet, pulling me into the ground. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Before I could fight, however, I sank fully into the floor, fading into darkness and shutting my eyes. As I opened them, I felt my silk sheets around me, soothing my anxiety from the darkness that had previously surrounded me. What the... Why did Diana bring me home? Was this an illusion? Was I being tricked? Something was going on. I sat up in bed looking around me. I was indeed in my room. There was no mistake about that. Why? Diana is too strange. Was this a game? Was this part of her plan to get the boys back? I was lost and confused more than ever, despite my logical thought trying to piece the puzzle that is Diana together. The more I tried to solve her, the less I understood about the situation I was in. I was interrupted, however, by my door suddenly opening, revealing the boys with Damien's hand on the doorknob.
Miss, what are you doing here?
Aren't you supposed to be in school?
I furrowed my eyebrows and stared at Desmeon, asking him to answer their questions through my thoughts.
Diana sent her back here. She invaded her school and sent all the students back home.
What is that bitch up to? Seriously! Diana's playing around for no reason.
Maybe it's part of her plan.
The boys continued to argue back and forth about Diana, fueling an almost jealous curiosity in me. Desmeon seemed to be too deep within the talking to notice my thoughts, for he didn't even stop talking alongside his brothers. Why was Diana after them? Why did she want to bring them back? What was so important about the boys that she would travel to the human world to get them? What was going on? I decided enough was enough. I needed answers. Hey! The boys stopped arguing, staring at me in surprise. I held my hands and fists on my lap, mustering the courage to continue to speak despite my abrupt shout. Why is Diana here? Why does she keep Wow, that was my bad. Why does she want to bring you all back? What exactly did you all run from? Why did you run from it?
Miss,
Don't miss me. Please. I need to know what is going on. I won't be left in the dark about this. I want to know what I am facing. The boys looked at each other hesitantly, unsure of what to reply. Finally, Sam pushed Desmeon towards the bed, making him buckle and land on his knees with his torso over the edge of the mattress.
Desmeon, do the thing.
The thing? What thing?
Sam, you're not suggesting.
Why not? She deserves to know everything, especially if Diana is targeting her.
Come on, click.
Sam's right.
I guess we have no choice then.
I was getting confused. What was Desmeon about to do? Desmeon stood before climbing onto the bed with me, sitting across from me on his knees.
We're going to show you everything. You have to trust me, okay? The minute you stop trusting me, the vision will stop.
Well, that was awkward. Why did I try to read when he was talking? Oh my god. Vision?
It'll be okay. Just trust him.
If he has to kiss me to give me a vision, I'm gonna be very angry. I looked to Matthew, unsure of what was going on, but I nodded. If this was the only way to learn, then this was my chance to know. Desmeon just gently placed his hands on each side of my head, gently pressing his thumbs into the skin above my eyebrows. I could only stare at Desmeon as his eyes began to glow gold and energy began to both pulled out of me and forced into my head. Within seconds, my vision went black once again. I was unsure of what Desmeon was doing, but soon shapes and textures slowly began to appear around me. I found myself sitting on a stone floor in the middle of what looked like a fantasy throne room. Where am I? I looked down at myself to stand, only to see my body as translucent as a ghost. Whoa! I jumped up and inspected my hands in a sudden panic. I was see-through. Why? What was going on?
How dare they try to negotiate with me? Do they not know whom they speak to?
OMG. I gasped and ran behind a nearby pillar away from the voice. The sound of his anger and words frightened every bone in my body, turning me into a frightened child.
My lord, please calm yourself.
Oh boy. That
Calm?
was great.
They're merely testing my resolve. I have more than half of a mind to send my greatest armies to take what should be mine. They are mere insects in the way of my kingdom's expansion.
They merely asked for a marriage joining.
So I'm to bow to them and share my land that I have so rightfully conquered?
I peeked from behind the pillar to see a large demon covered in royal clothes, but buff enough to be a military commander. Yes, because that's how you know someone is a military commander, by how buff they are. His rage practically emanated from his body as he growled at his servant.
They are willing to give their land to you, sire. All they ask is for one of your sons to marry their daughter, whom I might add is as beautiful as can be.
This is ridiculous! To suggest that I need their approval to take their land is beyond insanity. What makes them think I care about their precious daughter?
Did I mention that she is a prodigy of her kind, sire?
Oh my god, is that weird deep reverb really necessary to make them sound demonic? I mean, the little guy's voice is annoying enough without that.
A prodigy?
Yes, my lord. This succubus is a master of her skills in magic and mind manipulation. She is said to sway armies with a snap of her fingers, despite being as young as she is.
Impossible!
If only it were, sire. This succubus is dangerous, but would be a great asset to have should we agree to this arrangement. The only reason she cannot faze you, my lord, is because you are the strongest demon in the plains.
Okay, I'm going to wrap it up here because I'm out of time now. Please be sure to leave a comment in the video below to let me know how you think I'm doing. And if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. That way you can keep up with any new content that I put out in the future. Thank you so much for watching, and until the next episode, I'll catch y'all later. Bye!